Journey to Become a True God, Chapter 8 Battle with Mercenaries. The sound of the running man's footsteps increasingly clicked. Yichen turned towards the voice. Immediately several people dressed similar to the two people who had just been beat up by Yichen appeared, and they were pointing their weapons towards Yichen. Seeing more than dozens of weapons leading to him, Yichen still did not show the expression of distress or fear. He even showed a smile. "Please lower your weapons. We can talk well, right?" With a smile, Yichen tried to break the ice. The terrorists only look at each other, and there is a burly person coming out of the crowd, that bald man that has a scorpion tattoo on his cheek. He then looked at the two people who fainted on the ground and said, "Are you the one who injured my two subordinates, less than 20 years? Seeing that bald man Yichen wanted to play with him, I didn't do it. How could I not have a weapon? Weapon can bring down two people who have firearms. You think you can fool people like me? I just heard gunfire and only you were here, so if it wasn't you, who else would hurt both of them? Kill him and feed his body to the dog." Ha 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 ha. The bald man gave orders to the subordinates behind him. Hearing the bald man's words, Yichen's eyebrows were slightly raised, because they were not happy. "If you get the wrath of the gods, you know? Terrorists who listen to Yichen laugh immediately. Their fingers will press the trigger, but before their fingers press them they feel the heavy hammer hit his chest and they all fly a few meters backwards." The bald man who gave the order was confused because there was still no gunfire after a long time, so the bald man looked back and saw that all his subordinates had been ground on the ground and their mouths were bleeding. Seeing this strange bald man was a little scared. He saw the figure of Yichen Yang still standing at his place of origin and not moving an inch. "Look, what I say is right. They are all affected by God's wrath for trying to kill good people. Like me, maybe your turn will be affected by God's wrath." Of course the person who injured everyone was Yichen. Yichen used the 9 shadow step and in several seconds hit the man's selves lying on the ground. This move could create shadows that could trick the enemy and the total shadow that could be made by the moves. This reaches 9 figures. When using this style, Yichen changed right where he stood with a lot, and he himself went behind the bald man with a very fast speed and beat everyone, and Yichen did it in less than 2 seconds. Looking at this strange, "Who are you really?" The bald man began to fear Yichen. "I'm just a school student who was lost in the forest," Yichen answered as is. "Where is Mukin?" "There is a school student like you." The bald man was still not satisfied with Yichen's answer. "It's up to you, want to believe or not. For me, no problem. Actually, I do not like violence, but because you want to try to kill me, then I will give you a lesson that you will not forget in this life." Yichen smiles, and smiles are like devils. Hearing that, the bald man immediately pulled a pair of scimitar weapons from his backyard. The bald man then leveled the combat position. Immediately he ran towards Yichen. Scimitarly, his left hand was cutting horizontally towards Yichen. While Yichen was still relaxed, he stretched out his right hand and pinched the sword. Seeing what Bald Head was doing, he only smirked and thought Yichen was too great. Clank. The scimitar held on to Yichen's thumb and index finger. The bald man was surprised, and because he panicked, he tried to cut down the scimitar in the other hand to Yichen. Yichen also used his other hand to hold the bald man's wrist and squeeze him. Crack. Crack. The sound of bones cracking could be heard in the silent forest. Yichen then threw it like throwing cotton. The bald man fell down and curled up on the ground of misery. He saw his arms bent. He saw Yichen in horror. Yichen walked over to the bald man. Saw Yichen approached. The bald man was afraid and tried to lift and run away from Yichen. "Don't come near, you Satan. I know I was wrong, so please don't come closer." No matter how bald, the man begged Yichen to ignore him and walk over. Yichen actually does not want to be cruel, but these people also often kill cruelly, so what for loving them? Yichen lifted his legs and stepped on the bald man's calves. Ah, the bald man felt extreme pain. "Little grandfather, I know wrong, so please let me go." The bald man's arrogance was no longer there. He could only hope to stand away from this devil. "Yichen, hee hee, you said you would kill me and give it to the dog. Why don't you try it now?" Yi Chen then strengthened his permission. No, I was just kidding, so please let me go. With a painful expression, the bald man who had a burly body begged Yi Chen. Well, you know you're wrong, then will you repeat it again? No, I won't dare to repeat it, so please let me go this time. Too bad. If I let you go, then surely you will kill so many people, so I decided to make you paralyzed for life. Crack. Crackbone sounds cracked back. Ahhhhhhggghgh. Just kill me. Instead of feeling this extreme pain, he would rather die. Death is too luxurious for you, so it's better to torture you. With Yi Chen's vicious smile, stepping on the other bald man's feet again. The basis of Satan, my organization, will definitely never let you go, the priest kept screaming in pain. I do not mind to destroy your organization, and you must have also tortured your victims like I do now, so what have you ever felt sorry for them? So accept your karma for your actions. Within minutes, the screams of pain were heard in the forest, and some of the bones were both stiff and the bald man's hands were broken even though he could still live. The bald man could only be a person with a disability for the rest of his life. Seeing that bald man had learned Yi Chen's lesson, then walked towards the collapsed woman.